Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about a woman who walks alone. A woman who might not have a husband by her side, but let me tell you, she is far from alone. She is not lost, she is not incomplete, and she is not without purpose. She is walking with strength, with resilience, and with a deep knowing that her worth is not defined by anyone else. She is walking toward her dreams, toward her purpose, and toward the life that she is creating on her terms. A woman's worth is not defined by her relationship status, her partner, or the people around her. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that a woman needs to be married, in a relationship, or have a partner by her side to be complete. Society often measures a woman's success and fulfillment by the presence of a husband or partner in her life. But this is a misconception that needs to be broken. A woman who walks alone without a husband is not less than anyone else. In fact, she is fully whole, fully empowered, and fully capable of living a rich and fulfilling life on her own terms. A woman's worth is intrinsic. It's about who she is at her core, her strength, her character, and the impact she has on the world. No relationship can define or diminish that. Too often, society's expectations place unnecessary pressure on women to find a partner in order to feel valued. We are told that happiness and success come from being in a relationship or fulfilling societal norms. But what if we stop tying our worth to external factors like relationship status? What if we embrace the truth that a woman is valuable regardless of her marital status? The woman who walks alone without a husband knows that her worth is not dependent on having a partner by her side. She understands that her value comes from the inside out. It's about the confidence she carries, the love she shows herself, and the goals she strives to achieve. She doesn't need a man to validate her. She's already validated by the love she has for herself, by the way she respects and values her own unique gifts, and by the way she makes a difference in the world around her. Living independently does not make her any less deserving of love, respect, or success. In fact, it often amplifies her ability to be her best self because she has learned how to nurture and support herself. She knows what it takes to create a life of fulfillment, and she does not wait for someone else to complete her. Her life is her own to create, and she does so with purpose, with joy, and with a deep sense of self-worth. The misconception that a woman without a husband is somehow incomplete is a reflection of societal pressure, not reality. Women have been breaking free from traditional molds for decades, showing the world that they are capable of leading fulfilling lives as individuals, as professionals, and as contributors to their communities. When a woman walks alone, she is choosing to focus on her growth, her passions, and her journey without letting the expectations of others dictate her path. She recognizes that she is whole just as she is, and she does not need to be in a relationship to be whole. Every woman deserves to feel empowered in her own skin, regardless of whether she has a partner. There's a beautiful freedom that comes from standing on your own and knowing that you are capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. The woman who walks alone understands that her journey is unique. She has learned to appreciate her own company, to listen to her own heart, and to trust her own voice. She does not need anyone else's approval to know that she is enough. Being single or walking alone doesn't mean being isolated or lonely. It simply means choosing to live a life that aligns with her values, her goals, and her dreams. The woman who walks alone is building a life that reflects her inner strength and independence. She is creating her own happiness, not depending on someone else to bring it to her. She knows that her worth is not found in a title, a relationship, or a societal expectation. It's found in her courage, her resilience, and her commitment to living authentically. We all have moments where we question our worth, especially when the world around us emphasizes the importance of romantic relationships. But the woman who walks alone has learned to tune out the noise and listen to her own voice. She knows that she is deserving of love, success, and fulfillment, not because she is in a relationship, but because she is a strong, beautiful, and capable person who has the power to create the life she wants. So to every woman out there who may feel pressured or undervalued because she is walking alone, I want you to know that you are not incomplete. You are whole. You are enough. Your worth is not defined by your relationship status. You are defined by your strength, your courage, and the incredible woman you are becoming every day. Keep walking your path with confidence because your journey is powerful, your dreams are achievable, and your worth is immeasurable. Confidence in self is one of the most powerful qualities a woman can possess, and it is especially significant for a woman who walks alone without a husband. In a world that often defines women's worth by their relationships, it takes immense strength and self-assurance to embrace the truth that a woman's value does not depend on having a partner. Confidence in oneself comes from a deep understanding that you are enough just as you are. It's about knowing your worth, believing in your abilities, and trusting that you have everything you need within you to create the life you desire, regardless of your relationship status. A woman who walks alone without a husband is someone who has come to understand the importance of inner strength. She knows that confidence isn't something that comes from external validation, but from within. It's not about waiting for someone else to affirm her or make her feel complete. It's about recognizing her own worth and standing firm in the belief that she is capable, worthy, and deserving of everything she dreams of achieving. She has learned to love herself for who she is, not for what others expect her to be. Walking alone requires a special kind of confidence because it means choosing a path that may be different from the one others expect or envision. It means walking without the assurance of societal approval or the comfort of following conventional norms. But a woman who is confident in herself knows that she doesn't need to conform to anyone else's expectations to find fulfillment. She has chosen to create a life that is true to her values, her goals, and her dreams, not shaped by someone else's desires or judgments. One of the most powerful aspects of confidence is the ability to set boundaries. A confident woman knows her worth and is not afraid to say no to things that do not serve her. She understands that her time, energy, and emotional resources are valuable, and she chooses to invest them in what truly matters to her. This is especially important for a woman who is walking alone, as she knows that taking care of herself is paramount to creating the life she wants. By setting boundaries and standing firm in her decisions, she demonstrates the kind of strength that comes from knowing who she is and what she needs. Confidence in self also involves taking risks and stepping out of comfort zones. A woman who walks alone without a husband has had to learn to navigate life's challenges on her own. She has faced obstacles, dealt with moments of doubt, and yet she continues to move forward with courage. She doesn't let fear hold her back. And she doesn't wait for someone else to give her permission to pursue her goals. Confidence in herself allows her to take bold steps toward her dreams, knowing that failure is not something to fear, but a stepping stone toward growth. Another important aspect of confidence is the ability to be at peace with solitude. A woman who walks alone has learned the art of being content with her own company. She has embraced the quiet moments, using them as opportunities to reflect, recharge, and reconnect with her purpose. She doesn't feel the need to fill every moment with noise or distractions because she is comfortable in her own presence. This inner peace comes from a deep understanding that she is enough, just as she is, without the need for external validation or approval. Moreover, a confident woman is resilient. She doesn't let life's challenges define her. A woman who walks alone has faced adversity, whether it's the pressure of societal expectations, the loss of a relationship, or other personal struggles. Yet she continues to rise. She understands that setbacks do not diminish her value, but rather strengthen her resolve. She knows that resilience is not about never falling down, but about getting up each time with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. Confidence in self also means trusting in your own judgment and decisions. A woman who walks alone has learned to listen to her intuition, trust her gut, and make decisions that are in alignment with her goals. She doesn't rely on others to tell her what to do or seek permission from others to live her life. She believes in her ability to make the right choices for herself, even if they are difficult or unconventional. For a woman who walks alone, confidence in herself is the foundation upon which she builds her life. It is what allows her to face each day with purpose and clarity, knowing that she is worthy of happiness, success, and love, not because of her relationship status, but because of the incredible woman she is. Confidence in self is not about arrogance or perfection. It's about authenticity, strength, and the unwavering belief that she is enough. When a woman walks alone, she walks with the knowledge that her worth is not tied to a relationship, a title, or anyone else's opinions. She is confident in herself, and that confidence shines through in everything she does. It's a quiet, powerful strength that carries her forward no matter what challenges she may face. She is proof that a woman doesn't need a partner to feel complete. She is complete just as she is. Embracing her journey is a powerful statement for a woman who walks alone without a husband. It's about understanding that life doesn't need to follow a traditional script or be shaped by societal expectations. For many, the idea of walking alone might seem daunting or even lonely, but for a woman who embraces her own path, it's an opportunity for self-discovery, growth, and the freedom to create a life that truly aligns with her values and dreams. She chooses to walk her own path, knowing that this journey is hers to define, and she does so with grace, strength, and a profound sense of purpose. To embrace her journey is to embrace who she is, both her strengths and her vulnerabilities. A woman who walks alone understands that life's road may not always be easy, but she has the inner strength to navigate whatever comes her way. She's not afraid of the challenges she faces because she sees them as opportunities to grow and evolve. She knows that every step, whether it's forward or backward, is part of a bigger story, a story that belongs to her and her alone. This awareness gives her the power to navigate life's obstacles with resilience and to continue moving forward, no matter the pace. The woman who walks alone also embraces her journey by making the choice to be her own source of validation. She doesn't wait for someone else to tell her that she is on the right path. She knows in her heart that she is exactly where she needs to be. She understands that self-worth is not tied to the opinions of others or the presence of a partner. Her worth is intrinsic and comes from her confidence, her values, and the love she gives herself. When she embraces her journey, she knows that she is enough, just as she is, and that the direction she is heading is one that she has chosen for herself. In walking alone, she has learned to trust herself deeply. This trust is not only in her ability to handle life's challenges, but also in her ability to make the right decisions. She doesn't need someone else to make choices for her. She knows that her own intuition and judgment will guide her toward the best possible outcomes. She embraces her journey because she has learned to trust her own instincts, even when the road ahead is uncertain. She understands that, although she may not always have all the answers, she has the strength to figure things out along the way. Part of embracing her journey is letting go of the pressure to fit into societal molds or meet others' expectations. The world often sends the message that women need to be in a relationship to be happy, fulfilled, or validated, but the woman who walks alone knows that this simply isn't true. She understands that true happiness comes from within, and that the most fulfilling journey she can take is one that aligns with her values, goals, and passions. She is not concerned with what others think of her choices. She embraces her freedom to make decisions that are right for her, knowing that the opinions of others do not define her worth or her journey. For the woman who walks alone, embracing her journey also means taking full responsibility for her life. She knows that her future is in her hands. She can't control everything that happens to her, but she can control how she responds. She embraces the fact that she is the author of her own story and that the pages of her life are hers to fill. Whether she is climbing a mountain of personal goals, navigating through difficult times, or simply enjoying the peaceful moments of solitude, she understands that she holds the pen. Every decision she makes, every step she takes is part of the beautiful, unique story she is creating for herself. As she walks alone, this woman also embraces the value of growth and change. She is not static. She is constantly evolving, learning, and improving. Embracing her journey means being open to new experiences, new lessons, and new perspectives. She sees each day as an opportunity to become better than she was yesterday. Not in comparison to anyone else, but in comparison to the woman she was before. She embraces her evolution, and as she continues to grow, she becomes more in tune with her true self. This journey is not about perfection, but about progress, a progression toward becoming the best version of herself. One of the most beautiful aspects of embracing her journey is the sense of empowerment it brings. When a woman walks alone, she may face doubts or moments of insecurity, but ultimately she knows that she is in control of her own destiny. The freedom to create a life that is true to her heart is a powerful gift. She understands that her journey is not less valuable because she's walking alone. In fact, it is a journey of great strength, courage, and self-love. She embraces each moment, each challenge, and each victory along the way because she knows that her path is unique and beautiful, just like her. In embracing her journey, a woman who walks alone finds a deep sense of fulfillment and purpose. She becomes a shining example of strength and independence, showing that it is not the presence of a partner that makes her whole, but her own self-awareness, her resilience, and her ability to create a meaningful life. She knows that the journey she is on is hers alone, and that's exactly how it's meant to be. A woman who walks alone without a husband knows the importance of setting boundaries and priorities in her life. She understands that in order to thrive and create a fulfilling life, she must take control of how her time, energy, and resources are spent. Setting boundaries is not a sign of weakness, but a reflection of her strength and self-awareness. It is a way for her to protect her peace, her ambitions, and her well-being. She realizes that in order to stay true to herself and maintain a balanced life, she must learn to say no when necessary and focus on what truly matters to her. When a woman walks alone, she is in charge of her own destiny. She has no one else to rely on to set the course for her life. This means that she must be intentional with how she uses her time and energy. It's easy to become overwhelmed by the demands of others, especially when people expect her to do everything for everyone else. But a woman who walks alone knows that in order to achieve her own goals, she must set clear boundaries. She must know when to step back and prioritize herself, her work, and her dreams. By setting these limits, she ensures that she is not stretched too thin, constantly giving to others without taking time for herself. Boundaries are also about self-respect. A woman who walks alone understands that she deserves respect in her relationships and interactions. She does not allow people to take advantage of her time, her kindness, or her emotional energy. She knows that her needs are just as important as anyone else's, and she is willing to speak up for herself. Whether it's in personal relationships, at work, or in her social circles, she sets boundaries that honor her worth. She is not afraid to communicate her limits and expectations because she knows that doing so allows her to maintain healthy, balanced connections with others. Setting boundaries also means learning to say no without guilt. For a woman who walks alone, saying no is an act of self-care. It is a way of protecting her time and energy for the things that align with her goals and values. She knows that every yes to something or someone is a no to something else, and she chooses wisely. She does not feel obligated to attend every event, help everyone who asks, or take on responsibilities that do not serve her own growth. By saying no, she creates space in her life for the things that truly matter, things that nourish her soul, further her personal development, and move her closer to the life she envisions for herself. Prioritizing is another key aspect of living a fulfilling, independent life. A woman who walks alone knows that she cannot do it all, and that's okay. She must choose where to focus her time and energy, and those choices are guided by her deepest desires and values. Her priorities might include her career, her health, her personal growth, or the relationships that matter most to her. She knows that if she tries to do everything, she will end up doing nothing well. By being clear about what matters most, she is able to make decisions that move her closer to her goals and away from distractions that might pull her off course. One of the greatest gifts of walking alone is the freedom to design her life according to her own priorities. She does not have to consult anyone else, nor does she need permission to live her life as she sees fit. This is empowering because it allows her to focus on what will bring her the greatest joy and fulfillment. She can invest in her passions, work toward her dreams, and create a life that aligns with her true self. However, this freedom also comes with responsibility. It is up to her to stay disciplined, stay true to her values, and make decisions that align with her priorities. Setting boundaries and priorities also means protecting her emotional and mental health. A woman who walks alone understands that her peace of mind is vital. She knows that she cannot pour from an empty cup and that she must take time to rest, recharge, and care for herself. She is intentional about the people she lets into her life and the relationships she nurtures. She does not have to please everyone, and she is not afraid to distance herself from negativity or toxicity. Protecting her emotional space allows her to stay focused on what is important and avoid being drained by people or situations that do not contribute to her well-being. A woman who walks alone has mastered the art of self-care. She knows that boundaries and priorities are essential for maintaining a sense of balance and inner peace. By setting boundaries, she protects her time, her energy, and her mental health. By prioritizing, she ensures that she is making progress toward the life she wants without being distracted by the demands and expectations of others. It takes strength and wisdom to walk alone, and it takes even more strength to set and maintain boundaries that align with her values. But this is what makes her resilient, capable, and empowered. She knows that by protecting herself and staying true to her priorities, she is creating a life that is fulfilling, meaningful, and entirely her own. A woman who walks alone without a husband embodies the power of self-trust. She understands that her journey, while independent, is one she navigates with confidence, grounded in the belief that she has the strength and wisdom to create the life she desires. Walking alone doesn't mean being without support or love. It means that she has learned to trust herself deeply and to rely on her own inner guidance. This self-trust is not something that happens overnight, but rather something that grows through experiences, choices, and a commitment to honoring her own voice. Self-trust is the foundation for a woman who chooses to walk her own path without being defined by a relationship. It allows her to confidently face the challenges and uncertainties of life, knowing that she has the power to handle whatever comes her way. She trusts that she has the capability to make decisions, both big and small, and to navigate her own future. Whether it's deciding on a career path, managing her finances, or dealing with personal challenges, she believes in her own ability to chart her course. This trust in herself gives her the courage to take risks, pursue her passions, and make choices that align with her values and vision for her life. The power of self-trust allows her to silence the doubts and insecurities that often arise when she is walking alone. In a world that often measures a woman's worth by her relationship status, she has learned to quiet those external voices and instead listen to her inner voice. She knows that she does not need anyone else to validate her or confirm her worth. She is enough on her own, and she has learned to trust that her life is valuable, meaningful, and worthy of love and respect. Her sense of self-worth is not dependent on a partner. It comes from within. She trusts herself to navigate through life's ups and downs without needing external approval or recognition. A woman who walks alone embraces the power of self-trust in her relationships as well. She doesn't seek validation or approval from others because she knows that her worth is not defined by the people around her. She sets boundaries, communicates her needs, and fosters relationships that are based on mutual respect and authenticity. She trusts herself to choose the right people to surround herself with, and she has the courage to let go of those who do not add value to her life. She doesn't allow toxic dynamics to influence her sense of self because she knows her own worth and trusts her judgment when it comes to the people she invites into her world. Trusting herself also means that she embraces her individuality. A woman who walks alone understands that she doesn't have to fit into a mold or follow a prescribed life path. She creates her own narrative and builds a life that reflects who she truly is. She embraces her unique strengths, qualities, and gifts, and she trusts herself to walk the path that aligns with her authentic self. She knows that there is no one-size-fits-all approach to life, and she is not afraid to walk a different road if it leads to her personal growth and happiness. By trusting herself, she embraces the beauty of her uniqueness and confidently expresses it to the world. The power of self-trust is also evident in how she handles setbacks and challenges. Life isn't always easy, and the journey of walking alone can sometimes feel isolating. But a woman who trusts herself understands that obstacles are a part of life, and she does not let them define her. When faced with difficulties, she draws upon her inner strength and resilience, trusting that she has the resources within herself to overcome them. She doesn't shy away from challenges. Instead, she meets them head-on with confidence and determination, knowing that each challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger and wiser. Self-trust is what enables a woman who walks alone to maintain her peace of mind and emotional balance. In a world that can be chaotic and unpredictable, she has learned to trust herself to stay grounded. She knows that no matter what external circumstances arise, she has the power to remain centered and aligned with her values. This inner peace comes from the confidence that she has the wisdom to make decisions that reflect her true self, and that, even in the face of uncertainty, she will always be able to find her way forward. Through self-trust, a woman who walks alone cultivates a deep sense of independence. She is not reliant on anyone else for her happiness or sense of security. She trusts herself to provide for her needs, whether they are emotional, financial, or spiritual. She is her own source of strength, and this independence is liberating. It allows her to move through life with freedom and confidence, knowing that she is fully capable of creating the life she desires. A woman who walks alone without a husband is not alone because she lacks something or someone. She is alone because she has learned to trust herself and to find fulfillment within. Self-trust is the key that unlocks the door to living an authentic and empowered life. It gives her the strength to walk her own path with confidence, the wisdom to navigate challenges, and the courage to embrace the fullness of who she is. When a woman trusts herself, there is no limit to what she can achieve, and there is no obstacle that can stand in her way. Self-trust is the ultimate power. And it is a power that belongs to every woman who walks alone, confidently and unapologetically. A woman who walks alone without a husband finds strength in her independence. She doesn't wait for anyone to define her worth or determine her path. She has learned that her value comes from within, and her independence is a reflection of her courage, self-sufficiency, and resilience. Walking alone is not a sign of weakness or solitude. It is a testament to the power of self-reliance and the strength that comes from standing on her own 2 feet. The strength of independence is rooted in a woman's ability to take ownership of her life. She knows that she is responsible for her happiness, her success, and her future. Whether it's managing her career, making important life decisions, or navigating personal challenges, she trusts herself to do what's best for her. She doesn't need someone else to make decisions for her or to guide her through life. She embraces the autonomy to shape her own destiny, and this freedom is a source of immense strength. By walking alone, she affirms her ability to stand strong and take control of her own journey. Independence also empowers her to pursue her passions and dreams without limitations. A woman who walks alone has the freedom to explore the world on her own terms. She doesn't have to compromise her desires or put her aspirations on hold for someone else. She knows that she is capable of achieving great things on her own, and she is unafraid to chase after what sets her soul on fire. Whether it's advancing in her career, traveling the world, or dedicating herself to a cause she believes in, She moves forward with the confidence that her independence allows her to create the life she envisions. The strength and independence also comes from the deep connection she has with herself. A woman who walks alone has learned to cultivate self-love, to listen to her own needs, and to prioritize her well-being. She is not dependent on anyone else for validation or approval. She knows her worth and doesn't need a partner to complete her. She is complete on her own, and this self-assurance gives her the strength to navigate life with a sense of inner peace and confidence. Her independence allows her to create a life that is fulfilling, authentic, and true to her own values. In addition, independence enables her to set boundaries and protect her energy. A woman who walks alone understands the importance of saying no when necessary and choosing where to invest her time and energy. She knows that her independence is not just about being free to make decisions, but also about preserving her emotional and mental well-being. By setting healthy boundaries, she protects herself from negativity, unnecessary drama, and toxic relationships. She chooses to surround herself with people who respect her and add value to her life, knowing that her independence is her greatest asset. Strength and independence is also reflected in her resilience. A woman who walks alone faces the challenges of life with determination and grit. She understands that obstacles will come, but she is not easily defeated. She has learned to bounce back from adversity, using each setback as an opportunity to grow and evolve. Her independence teaches her that she has the ability to overcome anything life throws her way. She doesn't wait for someone else to save her or fix her problems. She takes action, makes adjustments, and keeps moving forward. Her strength lies in her ability to stand tall, even when the road is tough. The strength of independence is also evident in the way she navigates relationships. While she values deep, meaningful connections with others, a woman who walks alone understands that her happiness is not dependent on being in a relationship. She does not settle for anything less than what she deserves, and she does not compromise her values or needs to please others. Her independence empowers her to walk away from relationships that do not serve her well and to embrace the ones that lift her up. She knows that her worth is not determined by her relationship status, and she is not afraid to walk alone if it means maintaining her peace and integrity. Moreover, independence gives her the ability to make decisions that are aligned with her own values. A woman who walks alone has the freedom to pursue what matters most to her, whether that's her career, personal growth, or simply living a life that reflects her beliefs and aspirations. She doesn't have to live up to anyone else's expectations or follow a prescribed path. Instead, she creates her own, guided by her desires and her sense of purpose. This autonomy gives her the strength to live authentically and unapologetically, knowing that her choices are hers alone to make. A woman who walks alone also gains strength from the self-reliance that comes with being responsible for her own well-being. She manages her finances, her health, her home, and her happiness without relying on anyone else. This responsibility builds her confidence and reinforces her sense of capability. The more she takes charge of her life, the stronger she becomes. She knows that if she can manage it all on her own, there is nothing she cannot handle. Walking alone is not a path of loneliness, it is a path of empowerment. The strength of independence allows a woman to live life on her own terms, pursue her dreams, and navigate challenges with resilience and grace. She understands that her worth is not dependent on having a partner by her side, but on her ability to trust herself, to be self-sufficient, and to create the life she desires. Her independence is a reflection of her inner strength, and it is the foundation for a fulfilling and meaningful life. Through independence, she stands tall, confident, and ready to face whatever comes her way, knowing that she is more than capable of walking her own path.